Coming up right now, embarrassing! A diver takes a massive spill in front of the French president during an awkward Olympics pool opening. Oh, I feel bad for the guy.
Ow! Also coming up, beachgoers in the Golden State might find more surprise shark attacks after funds were cut for a marine program.
A little bit later on, could Bette Midler be setting her sights on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for her next project? Bravo to her!
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English, welcoming you to a midweek Wednesday Daily Flash. Whole hour packed with good stuff that you're going to need, including trending news and entertainment. Now, I'm already for lunch. Do you ever get to that point where you're like, all you can think about is what you're going to have for lunch? You ever get that way?
Yes, right now.
Matt, are you getting that way? Are you cooking up anything good lately?
So I started cooking again now that the wife's kind of let me have free reign of the kitchen again because it kind of make a mess. I made peanut butter chili the other night.
How much peanut butter goes into it?
It's basically a whole jar of peanut butter goes in there. It's black beans and garlic, and that's pretty much it. But you steam it together or cook it all together, let it warm up, kind of melt in there. It's actually pretty good.
Is it a slow cooking process thing?
All right,
why don't you give me the recipe?
3-4 hours, yeah.
I mean, I'll make it. I'll be the only one in the house eating it because, it has to be. Is it healthy?
Vegetarian.
Oh, it is?
Vegetarian.
Well, then maybe I can do that. I can sell it that way.
What kind of peanut butter do you use? Do you use like natural or do you go for like a Jif or a Skippy?
I did the Jif Creamy to start to make sure I wasn't going to go but I think next time I'm going to go higher end on the peanut butter, but I just wanted to try it. It was pretty good.
Okay, so my question was the same one, except it was crunchy or creamy.
Oh.
It was creamy. You can try the crunchy. But
creamy to me is a blasphemy, but I know I will get so many people saying, well, that's what butter is. And I just want my peanut butter crunchy.
I just can't imagine the calories. A whole jar of
We didn't
peanut
look at
butter?
that. We didn't look at that. Like the diet starts
It's
now for the
vegetarian.
honeymoon, but
Vegetarian.
That's what he says, vegetarian. Which sounds like it's healthy when somebody says like that.
And low fat, right?
Right.
Have you ever dreamed of buying a zoo?
Buying a zoo. Never thought about that.
And Damon tried once. It didn't end well.
I know. Well, there are two zoos that are up for sale in North Carolina. One's $16 million and the other one's about $4 million. So, Zootastic Park is one of the most popular privately owned zoos in North Carolina. The guy who owns it, I believe his name is Scotty Brown, and he is ready to make sure that his legacy is passed on to somebody else who can appreciate it. But they're both really popular places. And they deal with exotic animals. So the one is $16 million, and if that's too much, there's an Aloha Safari Park, which he also owns, that he also wants to sell, and that one's going for $4.5 million.
$4.5 million, and it's a private, I guess, right?
They're both private. They both involve a lot of exotic animals, so you have to have some sort of exotic animal experience and endless funds in order to not only buy it, but then keep it up.
And hopefully that is in the provisions that they say you need to make sure you have maybe like some money standby if you lose it. Because you feel bad. Like if the zoo, you can't feed the animals, they got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
All right. The unveiling of a new aquatic center in Paris for the 2024 Summer Olympics experienced kind of a cringeworthy moment. Here's what happened. You can look at your screen. A diver took a spill right in front of the French president while they were opening up the pool. The athlete was attempting a synchronized dive when his initial jump on the end of the board ended him with slipping instead of starting off his somersault. The 2022 World Aquatic silver medalist slipped completely off the board, hit his back before falling into the pool. The 26-year-old told reporters he actually wasn't too embarrassed, despite the distinguished guests who were actually there and present for the ceremony. Even, like it happens. I mean, you're doing that sort of thing. I always think, is it Greg Louganis who hit his head?
Oh,
remember?
Yes,
and it was right around the time, because he was openly gay at the time. And they were like, wow, there's blood in the water. What are we going to do? And that sort of thing. That was a long time ago.
That was back in the
80s? Yeah, way back when.
Yeah.
So you can go see that. So everybody does it, even the best. And good for him to go, I wasn't too embarrassed.
He's just lucky it's not North Korea, or else we wouldn't be seeing him
No,
anymore.
we wouldn't have
You can't do that in front of the High Prince or whatever they call
I
him.
can tell you, it was a great impersonation of what he would look like if I attempted to do that, right?
Very true, very true. But see, look at all the attention he's getting now for, the mishap, as opposed to if he'd been perfectly, in sync with the other two divers.
I agree.
Nobody talk about him.
And he was a silver medal winner too, so it happens.
Well, beachgoers from Santa Barbara to San Diego should be wary of an increase in possible shark attacks along the Southern California coastline if a program loses all of its funding. The Shark Lab at CSU Long Beach said it is actively seeking to raise $7 million to keep their program running past June. The Shark Lab monitors hundreds of adult and juvenile sharks that swim along the California coast. The lab also issues an instant warning to lifeguards if a shark gets too close to the shoreline. The Shark Lab, which began in 1966, has an impressive number of receivers, buoys, and underwater monitors that allow them to track and tag the sharks.
We in Florida actually see more sharks anywhere, than we see in the Atlantic and that sort of thing. And it's they say when you're in the water in Florida and the Atlantic, there is always a shark within a certain certain amount of time. My computer apparently didn't like me saying that. Maybe there's a shark around.
Maybe.
But even so, so to have the knowledge that they're always around, and then people are like, well, why are we seeing so many shark attacks?
Yeah.
Well, then there goes, well, maybe they're coming in, maybe something's happening out in the ocean. So you can see the importance of this.
I think on the East Coast we have a group called OSearch, if I remember correctly, and they track and monitor great white sharks that move up and down the East Coast.
I don't think they're all that great.
You don't?
I
Really?
No.
So they're good sharks rather than
They're
great,
just mean.
great sharks.
Somebody apparently wants me. I'll turn
yes.
this off. I'm not sure what
Somebody's
happened. My
texting
apologies.
you.
Yes. All right. It's a shark. It's my lawyer, land shark. Bette Midler, she actually sees the appeal of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and might just want to get in on the action. The 78-year-old actress is questioning whether it's too late for her to become a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. You don't have to be married to be on the show, right? I mean,
I don't think so.
You don't have to be a housewife, right?
I think if you're divorced or in some sort of contentious relationship, it's better.
Better. That's what
Yeah.
they want. Well, Midler says that she's actually never watched the show, but she says she's in the mood to stir the pot and get paid for it. Bravo's very own Andy Cohen actually issued his own stamp of approval, saying Bette would be perfect. The Beaches star then shared a potential tagline inspired by the title of her iconic film, "Those Beaches Don't Know What Hit 'Em." I like that. She would be fun to watch on there.
She looks great, by the way.
Matter of fact, yeah. We were just showing pictures of her.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, as of late, I didn't look like she's just looks healthier, right?
She looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Those
My
fights are
goodness.
pretty dramatic, and you put her in there, they're gonna go up a little more.
She don't care. Yeah, she's at
Yeah.
a point where you're like, all right, what else do I need?
Her and
That-
Meryl Streep should do
yeah.
it together.
Where you have a lot of people like the housewives when they start off, nobody knows them. Well,
Right.
everybody knows me, and I don't care. You kind of wonder how much controversy would come out of that.
So then are you tuning in just to see Bette Midler
Yes.
get into it with all the other
Putting them
non-known
down.
housewives?
Yeah, I would. You know, what would be fun is actually put her like up in Atlanta. I think that would be really fun.
And then we need
That's
Cher,
the only one I watch.
We need Cher on the Jersey Shore. Then you
And-
got them
and do
all
that.
doing it.
That would be nice.
That
yeah.
would be
And
funny.
then celebrity.
Her and Snooki
and
yelling
then
at each other.
they wrestle.
Yeah.
Speaking of housewives, Bethany Frankel is breaking down the wild moment. She got punched in the face at a New York City bakery.
yeah.
The Real Housewives of New York City alum was in Manhattan looking at apartments when she claimed she stopped for a snack and was hit in the face by a homeless man. The 53-year-old Frankel clarified to her followers that the random attack was not made with a closed fist. Although her security guard confronted the guy, she just wanted out of there. Frankel's latest post comes one day after she made headlines for commenting on another friend's video about being punched on a New York City street. Frankel noted she hopes this isn't the reflection of the current crime rate in New York City, because if it is, she is terrified for the safety of the Big Apple.
This actually came out to where it was running rampant, and they caught the guy who was doing this. And sometime they punched him like right in the face. I mean, close fist, and it's random, makes no sense. And it was women that were being punched.
Yeah.
What I found was crazy about it though is they get punched, and then they go on Instagram, "I just got punched," and I'm like, well, why are
the
you
one
on?
lady had
Go
a-
to the cops. There seems something
Right.
wrong with you,
Why
man.
is your first reaction to post
Yes.
about it on Instagram?
Hey guys, I just
Hey,
got
guys.
punched in the face.
That's how they all start off.
That's how it starts.
I can't believe what happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't believe it. What happened? I just got
If you weren't
punched in
looking
the
at your
face.
phone and paying attention to the guys walking up to you
Right.
in New York.
Right, yeah, and that is something to say about New York City and even big cities, is being aware of your environment all the time. And they're saying a lot of what happened, they were all on their phone. And maybe, and when you're dealing with the homeless people, there are some that have, there's mental issues involved in that, and that might just well, I'm just going to do it
Trigger
because
them,
they're,
you know?
you know,
Yeah.
they're like, well, I don't have a phone, so I'm going to hit the person that has it. We don't know what's going through their mind. But you have to be aware of what's around you, your surroundings altogether at any time. And I'm also glad, I have not heard since all the outbreak, if there's been more, which I hope this was just like a one-time thing and not something like, hey, everybody, let's start doing this.
If you read the New York Post, it seems like it's happening every
Every-
day.
yeah.
And these people, if once they're caught, they get a hand slap, and then they're let go, and then they repeat it and do it over again.
Yeah, and maybe there needs to be thicker laws for that.
Maybe.
We'll see. Hey, we got more Flash coming up right after this. Please stay with us. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Our next guest is Dutch life coach Maggie Maris, the author of Find Your Happiness, which is a personalized roadmap to self-awareness, growth, and lasting happiness. She's joining us right now, all the way from the Netherlands. Please welcome to Daily Flash. Maggie, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me on your show. I'm great. I'm having a great day. Thank you.
Good. You know, it's so important that we actually, actually have some kind of plan in our life. And we've heard this our entire life. And having a roadmap, as you say in your book here, kind of helps us and guides us in certain ways. And inside of your book, you have 4 key areas that folks should focus on. I want to start with the first one, believe in change. Well, that sounds like that's pretty common, but what do you mean by that?
Well, let me explain first to you before I answer your question.
Sure.
My journal is a coaching process and a journal in one book.
Okay.
And that combination is very powerful. Because if you want to achieve something in your life, right, you have to start doing something.
Indeed.
So these 4 steps came from my experience and will help you to find happiness and yourself. So to answer the question, believing in change, you have to ask yourself, are you open and willing to change? Because the book will make you become aware of your thoughts and your behavior, because our thoughts dictate our emotions.
Indeed.
So you will learn that change your thoughts into more positive one is so nice. And in the book, I will walk you through exercises to understand the roots of your behavior, because it's an introspective quest. You have to sit with yourself to get comfortable of being uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that, like finding out who we are, our authentic self, and we have to discover that as your next key focus here. And how does one go about doing that so for the betterment of themselves?
Well, if you now know you can change, you must find out who you really are. And in this phase, you will discover who you are, what you need, and what makes you happy, because this is the journey of your self-discovery. This is a really exciting part of the book and very fun, because it's all about you. So here you will create like a happy list and a triumph list, and you will know how to deal with challenges and feedback, and you know what your dream life will look like. And if you know this, you are ready to take the next step and act on it.
And acting, it can't be easy because if it was easy, then everybody would do it. So there's some fears that we have to actually handle, and that's your next focus, about facing those fears. Is it something that, should we have fears about what we're about to go through?
Well, I think having the fears is getting out of your comfort zone. That's actually what I mean with fears. You know, doing the things that are difficult, because that's where the growth is.
Yeah.
So this is in the part of taking care of yourself. We are responsible for our own happiness. So we must take care of ourselves physically, but also mentally. And if you do the work consistently, this is where the magic happens. I always tell the story of the plant, because just like the plant, if you give it water, food, and light, it will look amazing, right?
Sure.
So the same with us. Give yourself the attention that you need, and you will be amazing. And you're not only looking amazing, but you will also feel amazing.
Yeah. And your 4th focus is actually encompassing of all of that, and that is goal setting. But you say clear goals. What are clear goals?
The clear goals means actually that you are about yourself, because this one, now we are aware of our thoughts and behavior, and we are willing to change. So you discovered now your true self.
Sure.
And you understand that taking care of yourself makes you stronger and more in control. So this is the last piece of the puzzle is now to create your plan, to write your roadmap to happiness, because the book will guide you into writing your dream life in this part. And the only thing you have left to do is to put this into action, because my journal will help you to achieve your goals by helping you to make a concrete plan to transform your life. Because we are the director of our own story. Yeah,
and
so,
you get to actually,
you know,
in your book, it being a journal, you actually get to write it down as well. And I love that concept about actually, you have a guide. You can write in the book as well, your journal as well. It's called maggiesway.nl if you'd like to get a copy of Maggie's book. It's called My Journal. Visit again the website, maggiesway.nl. And Maggie, thank you for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
All right, and then there's this. All right, Jackson, another day, another smuggling story.
No.
This time it was 38-year-old Calvin Bautista who tried to get past the U.S.-Canadian border crossing, all by smuggling 2 young adult pythons in his pants. The dude was sentenced recently to a year of probation, fined $5,000. This is not the actual snake.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. They were discovered by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers. He says he bought the snakes. They're worth about $2,500 at a reptile store in Canada. The Burmese python, it's one of the world's largest snakes, is actually considered a vulnerable species in its native Asia, and it's also invasive in Florida, where it threatens native animals. U.S. federal regulations list Burmese pythons as injurious to human beings, and I don't care if it's a snake. I don't want another snake coming in the United States at all. We don't need any more snakes.
No, we don't.
No more sneaky snakes in this place. Boy, I tell you,
I feel bad for those snakes.
Yeah, it's not
in his pants.
What a way! Yeah, what a way to come to America.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, but here in Florida, we know this too well. People buy these exotic animals, and they are invasive to our flora and fauna, and we're losing all sorts of species down in the Everglades because they've got so many of these pythons they're trying to clear out.
They're buying them, and they're like, I'm tired of dealing with them. Let's go. Let's let them out, and they know that because pythons are not from Florida, so when they see one, then they know that exactly that there'll be an issue.
Do you remember that picture of the python and the gator fighting?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And reptile versus reptile. I mean, it was one of those. I mean, felt like we were back in the Stone Age, but it's still
right, prehistoric time, waiting for T-Rex to come like stomping out.
There are some good things here in Florida, and Matt Doolittle actually had an opportunity to stop by the brand new. You love this place. It's called Evermore, and you're probably going to be changing your vacation plans once you find out about this.
I think so, for sure.
It's really neat. That's coming up.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle. It's time for a little flash travel. This past week, we had the chance to explore one of the newest and largest resorts in Central Florida. Check out our tour around Evermore. Stuart, this place is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about Evermore?
Yeah, absolutely. So Evermore is the redevelopment of what was known as Grand Cypress. And then, so what we've done is we've taken, it's an 1,100 acre property. And so we've redeveloped it, including a Conrad Hotel, which is in the background here. It's 433 rooms hotel. And then we've added what we think is a sort of a groundbreaking home rental model. So it's a vacation rental model, but we own and operate all of the units ourselves. So it's like renting a home, but with resort-like services.
So as you walk into the building, you're greeted by a local market that we have, a gourmet market that we call Sandhill, right after the Sandhill Crane. So you can kind of procure anything that you need for in your home, so something to nosh on and snack. And we have a growing program. You know, we're bringing bees on property so that we can procure our own honey. But we do have lots of fruit, herbs, spices, different lettuces that are being grown right now that we're using. We do an in-home chef experience or an in-home mixology and bar experience. So if you wanted to have an event here, if you were bringing a family of 20 guests that wanted to stay in one of our 11-bedroom homes or even in one of our flats, we could actually send a team there to be able to interactively cook a meal, prepare cocktails, and just overall have a great experience with the guests.
And we're trying to build a better experience for people to vacation together. I mean, it really is designed for people who want to come and they want a relaxing vacation in a shared space that they can have more quality time together.
I have to tell you, it was an amazing time that sweet baby James and I got to experience, but there is one part that I left out, and you can see the whole video on our Instagram at dailyflash.tv on our Instagram. It's me going down the slide in one of the 11 bedroom homes, and well, here you go. This is 12 this. Oh. 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 Ah.
A lot of noises.
Oh. You can head to evermoreresort.com for more information. I'm sure we'll be out there soon for a bigger thing. But I got to tell you, man, I'm almost 40, and those little kid slides, they kind of hurt. So if you're going out there, just be careful. But it's an amazing resort. They got an electric boat that goes all over the place. It's awesome. So welcome to Is It True this week also. We are diving into the amazing world of television relics, and this one for sure is an icon. The iconic booth from the final scene of The Sopranos, the one that everybody got upset for, was up for auction this week. It is from the restaurant Holston's in Bloomfield, New Jersey. The shop isn't closing, they're just doing a renovation, and they decided to get rid of the booth. The booth where Tony Soprano, Camilla, and AJ wait for Meadow to finally park the car. The booth, which became a makeshift memorial after the death of James Gandolfini, the booth was seen as a must stop on the Sopranos tour. Guys, it went for $82,000. It started at $30,000 for the auction to kick off. But is it true you would spend $82,000 on a TV or movie relic? Is there anything you guys would buy?
Well, I would.
Yes.
You guys already know what I was trying to win it, and that was Dave Letterman's sign that they were auctioning off. You could actually win it, and it's a 20-foot by 10-foot sign. This is Late Show, so. Yeah, I guess that would be what I would want. Yeah, something I could do.
I can't think of anything. No, not to spend $82,000. My goodness, maybe a car, but I can't even think of which one.
Maybe like Captain Kirk's chair from Star Trek. That'd be kind of cool to have, right?
But how cool would it be if you had like a basement? Say you're in Michigan and you've got this basement that's awesome, and you just take your friends downstairs and go, have a seat in Tony Soprano's booth. That's kind of a cool moment. Then you got Journey rocking on.
And I was about to say that scene made me hate one of my favorite songs of all time because they played that "Don't Stop Believing" and then stopped it, and then the radio station started playing it again, and you heard it all the time. But yeah, I probably would. If you have the booth, you got to have the song, I guess, right?
I'm guessing maybe someplace like Hard Rock Cafe, maybe you bought it, or one of those memorabilia places, right? Where you can go to see it, and
Planet Hollywood.
it's on display somewhere.
It makes sense. I mean, I think similarly of the Seinfeld booth. I mean, they almost look the same too.
Yes, from Monk's Cafe.
From Monk's Cafe and that sort of thing. I mean, how cool would it be to have something like that? And as Matt was mentioning, for a man cave, I mean, you've got the quintessential, how cool, let's sit down and talk place to do it.
I automatically think of Archie Bunker's chair, but isn't that at the Smithsonian?
It sure is.
Maybe that's where the booth will go.
Maybe they might have purchased it and put it in there.
Maybe.
I know that the Fonz's jacket is in there as well. There's so much cool stuff there. And we've got more cool stuff coming your way. Trending news and entertainment. By the way, anything you want to check out, it's right there waiting for you on our website, dailyflashshow.com. More right after this.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English. This is Daily Flash. We're welcoming you to this Wednesday show. So glad to have you here. That Diddy lawsuit that's out right now, and where is he? And the fact his name is Diddy. Everybody's going after that. Well, there is a 73-page lawsuit that has been issued out, and some big names have actually popped up, including Prince Harry, in this lawsuit. It was actually out by producer Rodney Jones, and he's not the only one. There's also other celebrities, athletes, as well as political figures that are involved in this, and they wanted to make sure those are reporting there saying there's no suggestion of any wrongdoing at all from the prince, from the Duke of Sussex, but it's kind of reminiscent of this Epstein. Remember, Epstein is like, who went to the island? Who went to the island? And they're saying because of what P. Diddy is being accused of, was his house parties one of those sort of places where people would show up? If you showed up, your name's probably going to pop up in this lawsuit.
Because I think the question is, when you are someone as successful and famous as P. Diddy and makes that kind of money, if you've got that kind of money and you throw those kinds of parties, is there something going on? Are you holding something over people?
Yeah.
Because I read in one of the reports that he had a camera in every single room in his mansion. So why do you have a camera in every single room in your mansion if it's not for keeping an eye on things?
100%. And I think that, again, we should reiterate that he's not been charged with anything. He's just named in this lawsuit. But maybe they have, and the reason they have to do that is say, hey, what did you see? When you were there? And so that if they name names, that there's going to be people that can testify.
He used to host those giant white parties out
I
in the
remember that.
Hamptons, and I've heard a few people talking about it, that it was really awkward, and there were people like quarantined off to certain areas of the house. Like I know Howard Stern was talking about it, where he's like, they kicked me out to like the not famous cool people, and all the famous people were inside. He's like, I never saw them. So he went to like one of them, and he's like, it was really weird, and he never went back.
Oh, in those parties, and Stern doesn't really go to parties much.
That's
so,
true. Well, there's a good movie on Netflix right now. It's called Scoop. And it's about Prince Andrew and his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and how that whole debacle of an interview on the BBC with Prince Andrew came about. It's really fascinating.
I think that popped up. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah,
now.
it's good.
All right. The unveiling of a new aquatic center in Paris for the 2024 Summer Olympics. Well, it gave us quite a dive into the cringe, if you will. A diver took a spill in front of the French president while they were opening up the pool. The athlete attempting a synchronized dive when his initial jump on the end of the board ended with him slipping instead of starting his somersault. The 2022 World Aquatic silver medalist actually slipped completely off the board and hit his back before falling into the pool. He's 26 years old, and he actually had a good attitude about it. He told reporters, I wasn't too embarrassed, though there were so many distinguished guests there at the ceremonies.
It's the extra pop on the way down that's even better. Like, it just didn't fall, and the board slapped him 2 more times before he went.
I suppose as a professional diver like that, or as an athlete that does that kind of thing, that happens more often than not. We just see the pretty parts.
It was a big moment and everything. You're 100% right. I can buy that.
Yeah. Well, beachgoers from Santa Barbara to San Diego should be wary of an increase in possible shark attacks along the Southern California coastline if a program loses all of its funding. The Shark Lab at CSU Long Beach said it is actively seeking to raise $7 million to keep their program running past June. The Shark Lab monitors hundreds of adult and juvenile sharks that swim along California's coast.
Look at that.
The lab also issues an instant warning to lifeguards if a shark gets too close to the shoreline. The Shark Lab, which began in 1966, has an impressive number of receivers, buoys, and underwater monitors that allow them to track and tag the sharks.
There's so much we don't know about the ocean, and sharks seem to be kind of close to the top of the food chain. So if something ever happens with them, obviously everything under. So it is important for them to be able to track them and find them as well. We only hear about when they attack people, or Steven Spielberg makes a movie about them, right?
Now, see, some people would argue with you when it comes to an animal attack. It's more of an encounter. You're entering their space. Same with bears. Same with any sort of wildlife. You're entering their space, so you're encountering
Keep that
them.
in mind.
And they just do what they do naturally.
Sharks doing shark business.
We're being sharks. We're sharks. We're going to do shark things. We are going to do more trending news and entertainment coming up after this.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle, and in today's Financially Speaking, we're taking a look at the change in the retail market, in particular, how the resale market has made its mark in recent years. Here to discuss the changes to the retail industry by resale is investment banker and contributor for Forbes.com, Richard Kestenbaum, a partner with Triangle Capital LLC. How are you, Richard?
Hey, how are you, Matt? Great to see you.
Great to see you. So why is the resale market so important in today's market?
Well, consumers are changing, and what they want now is different than what they've wanted before. And what they're looking for is personal values in the products they're making. And that means that vintage is cool and desirable. Whereas thrift stores used to be only for poor people, they're now for the cool kids. And so buying a Gucci bag is nice, but buying it on vintage is cool. Also, brands are having to change their attitude towards how they treat their consumers and how they approach them. Brands used to feel that resold products were cannibalizing the sales of first sale products. Why would someone pay the full price if they could buy the same thing for less if it's resold or vintage or thrift? Well, they're changing their attitude and they're getting involved in the market. And some brands are offering it themselves. They see it as an ability to attract customers that can't afford their price so that they get them in at a young age and hopefully keep them as they get older and develop the ability to pay first price for the product.
So Richard, is that good for the brands or bad that they can kind of pivot towards, even if they are a high luxury brand, say a Louis Vuitton that everybody knows, they know the logo, all the fancy people wear them. Is that good for them to kind of want to be in those resale markets?
It's a great question because there's a great debate going on about that very question. Many brands historically felt, no, this is bad for us. But now brands are coming around to the idea that this is good for our business because it brings in new customers and, very importantly, it helps retain existing customers. They resell their products back to the brand. The brand can authenticate the product so the person who buys it knows that it's the real thing and not a fake. There are plenty of fakes in the market. And it starts to work like the used car market. One of the reasons a Mercedes-Benz or other luxury cars have a higher price is because consumers know they can resell the car for a higher price at a later time. If you know you can resell your bag, it changes what you're willing to pay for it because you know you can get back anywhere from 30 to 70% and sometimes more than 100%, but generally 30 to 70% of the value, and that changes what the bag costs you. And that changes everything.
Well, can these resale companies be profitable at the end of the day? I mean, they're really just bringing in stuff and turning it around. I know when I used to take in a video game and they'd give me $2 for it and I'd see it on the shelf the next day for 25.
Right. Well, it's very hard to be profitable in resale. And a lot of money has been raised for companies to be everything to everybody in resale, and those companies have not succeeded in becoming profitable yet or getting a return. Some of them have eked out small profits, but getting a return on their money, that hasn't happened. What we are seeing now is resellers being able to make a profit by focusing narrow and deep on a very specific segment of the resale market. And that seems to be where the market is headed. We are also seeing brands get into the business to resell just their own products, and that is becoming profitable for certain brands.
Well, that's great information, Richard. And I love the resale markets. I love going through the thrift stores and seeing what I can find and all that. And thanks for all that. We'll make sure we have a link to your website, trianglecapitallllc.com on our website, as well as this segment. You can find it all on our website at dailyflashshow.com. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much.
Sugar is a big part of everyone's fight in their diet, and one doctor has a new approach which could be a game changer. Dr. Nicole Avena joins us to talk about her new book, which gives us 7 very important steps to change our body for the better. Welcome, Dr. Avena.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
So let's talk about sugar. We all know it's not great for us, but why would you say it's really a bad choice?
Well, there's so much research that's coming out over the past several years that's shown us that sugar is linked not just to obesity and being overweight, but also to so many different medical issues. It's linked to diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and we're also now learning that it's linked to mental health issues. So if you're really looking to make a change for the better in your health, one of the best things that you can do is to reduce your intake of added sugar.
So how can we cut sugar out of our normal diet? Because if you spend any time looking at the ingredients of stuff, it can be hidden in there and we might not even know it's there.
Absolutely. It is a real challenge. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to write my new book, Sugarless, which is to help people figure out how to do this. Because like you said, there's sugars hidden in so many of the different foods that are out there. So one of the things that I recommend is making sure that you're really paying attention to those nutrition facts labels. You want to be looking at the line that tells you how much added sugar is in the product. And if it has more than 5 grams per serving, I say put it away and choose something else. You want to really try to focus in on reducing the amount of added sugar because so many of these products have it. And when you're having even just a little bit of it throughout the day, it can really add up very quickly and be much, much more than is recommended by the present government guidelines.
And it probably changes our body in so many different ways, maybe subtly that we don't even realize. How can we change our mindset when it comes to the food we eat?
Yes, that is such a great thing. I'm glad you brought it up because I talk about this a lot in the book. It's really about revising our relationship with the foods that we eat. And I think that our culture has gotten so focused on convenience foods and highly processed foods that we've sort of gotten away from, understanding the importance of nourishing our body and in consuming things that are really good for our health. And so it's very important to think about the psychology of this and, not look at it like, oh, I'm depriving myself because I'm not eating that cupcake or I'm not eating, that ice cream cone. Look at it like I'm choosing to eat something healthier right now so that maybe later on, if I decide I want to, intentionally have some sugar and maybe have an ice cream cone as a sweet treat, then that's fine. But I think it's really about, looking at our holistic approach to our diet, the things that we're eating all the time, so that we can cut out sugar where we don't need it. So that way, when we do want to enjoy it, we actually can.
Does it really come down to a craving when it comes to sugar, or do we just get so used to having it, it's tough to let it go?
I think it's a little bit of both, actually. I think that sugar's become so normalized. I mean, if you think about it, you look at the grocery store products, 68% of grocery store products contain added sugar. So when you go shopping, you are most likely coming home with a cart full of groceries that have added sugar in them. It's become very normalized. So in part, yes, we've just gotten accustomed to consuming it all the time. But it's also, too, the marketing and the advertisements and the social pressures. You go to the office, people bring in donuts, you go over someone's home, they offer you, something delicious to eat. And I think that normally those things would be fine if they were once in a while, but it's on the background of this constant stimulation from sugar all day long.
One last quick question for you. Where do you stand on fruit? Because so many people talk about there's so much sugar in bananas, there's so much sugar in fruit, there's obviously a lot of fruit in fruit juice. What do you say?
Look, I've never met anybody who's overweight and has diabetes because they're eating too much fruit. It's not the fruit's fault. It's really not. It's really a great crutch to get you off of the added sugar from all those processed foods. So use fruit as your way to enjoy something sweet, and it's got fiber and other things in it that are great for you.
Dr. Nicole, thank you so much. The book is called Sugarless. For more information, head to drnicoleavena.com. Let's jump into Daily Flash Deals, where we share great finds at exclusive prices. To start shopping now, scan the QR code or visit dailyflash.com. Lifestyle expert Elise Ivy is here to give us all the details. Elise, welcome. Good to see you.
So glad to have you here. You always bring great stuff.
Okay, well, I'm particularly excited about this one because it makes us feel our absolute best. This is from a brand called Wrinkles Schminkles. Wrinkles Schminkles, right? Great name. Okay, this is actually their best-selling bundle, and they are truly the pioneers when it comes to using 100% medical-grade silicone to smooth out your wrinkles.
Ooh, nice.
So it makes the skin taut, it draws hydration to the surface, and then it allows your body to produce its own collagen in a natural way.
Wow.
Very cool, right? Let me show you what you're getting. You're getting 60 uses because each of these will be 20 uses.
Okay.
So 60 uses of the eye patches. You're getting the forehead wrinkle smoothing patches as well. You'll get 40 uses there and 40 uses of the mouth and lip wrinkles.
Are these hard to put on and apply? Is it easy or?
You want to go for it? You want to give it a go?
Yes.
Okay. How about the forehead tap?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
good.
perfect. So as you see here, it's very easy, malleable, and medical grade silicone.
Okay.
So I'm going to peel off the backing. Okay. We are going to apply to clean, dry skin.
Okay.
right
you,
there.
Mitch. Very good.
And here's the deal. You can wear this for 1 to 2 hours just to get a little pick-me-up before a special event. Or you could even sleep in this overnight to get the full effects. And we have some before and afters actually that we can show you. So as you can see, you've got a lot of smoothness around the eye area, the lip area, the smile lines, and of course, the forehead lines.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, these things, you can always bring good deals. What do
Thank you.
what do
Yes.
have?
Okay. So today we have a savings of 32%. And keep in mind, these are all reusable, right? So as I mentioned, up to 40 uses on the forehead, 40 around the mouth, and 60 around the eye.
And
so
just easy
steal
to
of the deal.
wash, right?
That's right. You just wash clean water, go ahead and pop it right back on your little cardboard paper here and store it for your next use. Clean, dry skin.
I love it. Thank you so much, Elise. And of course, if you want to take advantage of this deal, scan the QR code. It's on your screen right now, or you can just go to the website. It's dailyflash.com.
Now entering its second season, Daily Flash Latino. Designed for the American Latino audience, Daily Flash Latino hosts Jessica Reyes and Fabian Marcano deliver their fresh perspective on the latest entertainment news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, and more in both English and Spanish, aka Spanglish. Daily Flash Latino builds, connects, and celebrates the diverse Hispanic audience.
Take up your chin, por favor, mi amor. Fabián, por favor. Límpiate la cara.
I'm enjoying this just as much as our viewers are enjoying this right now.
Daily Flash Latino, trending news and entertainment with a splash of Spanglish. KSA Entertainment is proud to produce and provide a robust collection of entertaining, uplifting, and timely content to broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico. KSA Entertainment. On point, on air.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Matt Doolittle, Andrea Jackson, Mitch English.
Indeed. You know, we were talking when we started off this half hour here about a long marriage, like the keys to it. You know, Maddie, you're getting there. It's kissing 3 times a day, talking about saying I love you and everything.
Do that.
But they also say share hobbies, but also what about working together? And so I was talking to Jackson earlier this week about you and your guy were working in the back. It works. Can you guys work together?
Yeah, we can. In fact, well, that's how we met. You know, working together.
That's true, right?
But the nice thing is, like, you get to learn a lot about somebody just knowing them personally and in the work front, right? So that is really important.
Stress level.
The stress levels and what you can handle. But also we share a lot of hobbies together too.
Which is awesome. Now, there are some things where you get so comfortable with somebody. So earlier this week, we're building a little kind of like a pool house, little office out back. And so I was in charge of like getting the place all set up. Well, Eliza was out of town. And so I go, well, I'm going to be super husband.
You're going to do man things?
Man things.
You're going to go Tim Allen?
I'm going to go. And so I went in, and so we bought this gravel that holds all the gravel in place. It's like a grid, and you put it out. Well, it went too long, and so when we were first initially installing it, I said, hey, I'll cut it off. And I thought she said, yeah, all right, whatever. So anyway, she comes back. We go in the back there. I'm telling you, now we've been married for a year now. This is probably the most high energy I've ever seen her get at me about, what did you do? Why would you cut? I go, I told you I was going to do that. Anyway, so we come down.
And she's usually pretty chill with you when you know, when you go sideways.
She's extremely, that's what I'm saying.
Very patient.
And we're in the backyard. Neighbors are listening to this. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so.
Planes flying over.
And I go, and she goes, well, just don't do anything without asking me first. I go, well, you do that all the time. And she goes, really, when? And I'm like.
Chances are what she does is responsible, too.
I go, I can't think of anything, but I know you have. And so then about like 2-3 hours go by, I'm like looking around, oh yeah, she did that without telling me. But like, and she at this time is
like,
hey,
something that's not bothering you.
Right. And she is so nice. She's like, hey, can I get your thing? And this time I was like, no, I can't yell at her, like saying, hey, you took those down or you changed this. So my brain, anyway, so what we learned, always ask the wife first before you do anything.
That's what I'll start learning.
Good call on that. Thanks y'all for joining us today.